going on? This is Lawrence B. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class. Thank you for joining us today. As we go into the topic of the day, we've been talking to the men about, let me get this set up right here so this can go out. Talking to the men, shout out to you. What's going on? All the ladies are here today. What's going on, Tara? What's going on, Shantia? What's going on, ladies? Good to see you ladies in the place. Good to see the ladies in the place. Oh my God, it's good to see you. Good to see you ladies here today, especially with the nature of what I'm going to talk about today. If you didn't hear me yesterday, I tried to be sort of short-winded with it a little bit, but let me drop the music. The way of a man, and what I'm seeing now, just conversations with what the ladies are here today. Shout out to the ladies. Shout out, Cerise is here. Wade, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. The ladies came in. Tara, Shantia, Cerise. My dude Wade is here. Shout out to you. Shout out to you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yesterday, we talked about leadership and how important leadership was for a man first to be self-governed by himself, to lead. And we talked about some things that are happening in the news with a lot of, I'm going to break it down. A lot of things that we see happening in the news is a breakdown of the family. And when there's a breakdown of the family, what happens is either the breakdown of the family, or even sometimes when there is a single parent home, how that affects the child. What does this have to do with the way of the man? It has everything to do with the way of the man, because the men are the foundation of the family, the community, and the nation. So you take the man out of the house, you destroy the family, you destroy the community, but you also destroy a nation. You actually weaken a nation when you don't have the foundation of men in place. That's why we're talking about men this week, the way of the men, how important it is. Now, yesterday I said some very, very important things about leadership. That's vitally important. That was vitally important. So let me get some clarity again, so everybody know, because I think if I repeat it, the more it get glued to you. When I talk about game over here, I'm talking about game in the sense of game meaning strategy, from getting one place to the next place. Understanding human nature, plain and simple. Understanding female nature and understanding masculine nature, and understanding how to navigate through those different modalities. What we got going on now, because there's such a breakdown, and I'm just here to bridge the gap between the man and the woman, especially with the thinking class, is how do we bridge this gap? And the first thing I have to do again is talk to the men. And the word that we're going to use today is trust. Plain and simple. I've been studying some things behind the scenes, because since y'all think I just come up here and talk, and I just talk off the top of my head. No, to be effective with what you're doing, you have to be a student of the craft that you're learning. Let me say that again. In order to be effective in what you're doing, you must be a student of the craft. And also, too, you must be able to what? To listen to arguments that disagree with what you think or what you believe, because you learn a different perspective. So I do go on and study. I study more than what you think. I research more than what you think I research. I research things that you would have no clue I research, so that I can be precise in what I talk about here on the thinking class. So one of the things I'm learning is, when it comes down to the breakdown of the way of the man, it's this word called trust. There's a big thing, and that's why I call it the cupcaking of men, because what happened is, when I mean cupcaking or the buttercupping of men, is that a lot of men have been so, think about it, the word that came to mind I can't use. They have so been watered down that their masculinity has no potency. Let me say that again. They have been so watered down that their masculinity has no potency, so it produces nothing. Therefore, the women cannot fall. The women cannot be in the position they need to be in. So don't get me wrong. I hold women accountable too. So don't think I'm getting on the men and I don't hold women accountable. Because I seen a video just this morning that a lot of women are waking up. They admitting that they're wrong. They were sold a bill of goods from the social conditioning or social engineering. That's a better word. Social engineering, and realized that they need men. That they were sold that being strong and independent has served them no good. They realize that they ain't helping them at all. But when we get back to it, there's something element that is missing between the man and the woman, and that word is trust. She don't trust you and you don't trust her. If you look in any disagreement here on social media, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the case may be, there's always an issue where the other party really don't trust each other. The man don't trust the woman and the woman don't trust the man. But I'm gonna go a little bit deeper we go a little bit deeper because we're talking to the men first, which is the foundation. Men don't even trust themselves. Can I trust you as a man? Those women are getting humble, right? It's going. I told you, I gave a warning. Wintertime is coming. But can I trust you? Can I really trust you as a man? Forget about the women. Forget about the money. Forget about the cars. Forget about the pros, the 304s. Can I really trust you as a man? And I realize that the issue is that a lot of men don't trust themselves with their own masculinity. So look, what's going on, American Brazilian? Shout out to you, brother. A lot of men don't trust themselves with their own masculinity, and they don't trust themselves to make decisions. Therefore, they cannot lead a community or lead themselves like my guest last week can't even lead themselves out of a paper bag. Can I really trust you? Now, we men, you have no, I know it's easy to blame when I was in a single home, or my dad left, or this happened. But at the end of the day, you got to take responsibility. Can I really trust you? Can I trust you to keep your word? And I realized the breakdown is a lot of men don't trust themselves. And because they don't trust themselves, they project that on everyone, and especially the women that they deal with, because they don't trust really themselves. I know y'all don't like it. I mean, you may not want to hear it, but it's the truth of the matter. You don't trust yourself. It's easier to say it's the woman. It's easier to say it's this one. But when we know about it, this is what happens. That's what we got going on. That picture right there. Got a lot of men who don't trust themselves. They don't trust that they can make decisions. They don't trust their own leadership. And therefore, they project that on everyone that they deal with. They project that on the women. They project that on their kids. They project that on life. And so what life does gives back to them what they've been given out, which is more what? Mistrust. Foundation of a man is leadership, but you got to be able to trust. In a certain community, which I'm not going to talk about that particular community, trust is a factor. In order for you to lead that woman in this particular community, she got to trust you and you got to trust her. And what we see is a diabolical breakdown of trust between the man and the woman, especially here in this United States. We don't trust each other. We've been sold a pill of mistrust so that we do not come together and work together. We do not trust each other. We don't trust each other past what we can see them. And I'm not saying go in there blindly, just trusting everybody. We ain't talking about being a fool now. We ain't talking about being a fool right now. I'm not believing. I'm just saying you go out and trust everybody you see. You do have to have some kind of things in place where you know that this person is trustworthy and they're proving their trust. That's different. But the buttercupping of these lot of men, you can't trust them. You can't trust them further than you can throw a dime down the street because you know they ain't worth the time. Trust is an issue that we need to tackle with men and women. I'm gonna give the link here in the I'm gonna give the link here so you can come up and share. Please stay on top. You talk about anything else, your mama and how your mother made baked goods and all that kind of stuff, don't even come. I'm just letting you know. Don't even do it. Post the link right here. But the issue is that we do not trust each other. I'm telling you. Thank you. I so agree. Trust is the foundation needed for both. Yes, it is. We do not trust each other. And so what happens is we're constantly you on your side and I'm on my side and I'm watching you, but I don't know what you're going to do. Because really the reason why we don't trust each other is because we don't know how to relate to each other. That's the real deal. See, what happens is, who's taught you women how to relate to a man? And what man who has taught you how to relate to a woman? See, the reason why you can't trust is because you don't know how to relate or how to communicate with the other individual. That's the thing. That's the whole divide. That's the whole thing. If you go on any channel, you go on any show, you realize anytime there's a breakdown, they don't trust each other. I don't trust you. You're going to cheat. You're going to do this. So the breakdown is two-way. Not being able to relate and also not being able to communicate. That's just the reality of it. I give my own self some claps on that. We have been looking at each other as enemies and not knowing that we are in the same camp fighting each other while everyone else is laughing. And this is not even racial. This is the whole divide and conquer. You don't trust because you don't know how to relate and you don't know how to communicate to each other. And so what happens is we get lost. This used to be a song by what's the name of that group? New Edition. I'm lost in love. No, you ain't lost in love. You're lost in your feelings and you cannot trust that other individual. And what happens is the real reason is, let's break it down with the trust issue. Because I'm talking about we're still talking about the way of the man. Because we've been hurt in the past and we never healed from when someone who took our trust for granted. Let's be honest. We never healed from the trust of someone who took our trust for granted. Whether it's a man or a woman, our dad, our mom, our cousin, uncle, sister, brother, auntie, whoever else, anybody of the opposite or the same sex, we don't trust anymore. And so the foundation for us to even relate to the opposite sex has been tainted. So we don't trust completely we don't trust at all. And please don't come on here talking crazy that, I got to watch everybody. I'm not saying going out there and trust everybody wholeheartedly. Don't go out there looking like a boo-boo to fool. Because at the heart of the matter, if you look at the breakdown, we don't trust each other. We do. I wish American Brazilian was here. He'll give you a complete example. He'll tell you when he has to go to another country, he has to have some people there. He has to have people there that that he trusts when he lands in Brazil. He has to trust the taxi. He has to trust the hotel person. You got to trust where to get the right water. You got to trust to be in the right community so he's not in the wrong community. There has to be a level of trust established. but he has to also establish what? Relatability. And even if there's a breakdown of communication because of two different languages. But see, this is what's happening this is what's happening with the man and the woman. That's what I'm saying. The way of the man, he must establish the trust factor. When I talk about, I wish I can really talk behind the scenes about the lifestyle I'm really talking about. In order for you to get into this arena, let's put it this way, because I don't want to pretty much put it out there too much. But when you get into any relationship, but in this particular type of dynamic of relationship, in order for her in this dynamic, in order for her to follow your leadership, she has to trust that you're not going to hurt her or mislead her. Second of all, he has to trust that you're going to follow his directions and not go astray. What we have now is a breakdown of mistrust among the sexes. And I'm coming to the men and say, you are the foundation. And the issue, I need you to look in the mirror first. Can I trust you? Can I trust you? Now, even if we take it out of the dynamic of just a man and a woman, can I trust you as a man? Can I trust you to hold your word? Can I trust you to be able to say, hey, bruh, I got you? Can I trust you? If I give you $15, you're going to give me my $15 back. Can I really trust you? And yes, there are people that we should not even trust. So please don't come over here talking about, hey man, you just saying trust. No, I ain't saying trust everybody. There are some people, but there's the breakdown. Like I said, the American Brazilian, shout out to him. We got the same name. When it comes down to it, when he flies there, he has to trust that they're going to give him his passport back to him when he goes there. He had to trust that when he goes eat, that the people are going to feed him good food. It's all a trust. And the American Brazilian is married. He has to trust his wife. He gave an excellent example on his broadcast of how his wife, I think, I wish he was here. He gave the example, but he gave an example about his wife who is Brazilian, but she's in America. He had to trust that she was not going to take on the Western mindset. What? And infiltrate her mind. He trusted her and she said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. It's all about trust. But also too, sometimes, let me say this. I need to get a picture for this because it's so true. We got a lot of men. That's why I call them buttercups. We talk about the women being divas. But we got a lot of dudes. Don't come over here talking crazy. We got a lot of dudes who are just as diva as women. Y'all ladies better say something in the chat room.
Execute Order 66.
We have a lot of men who are just as, shout out to you, Alpha Kingdom. You got a lot of men who are divas. Let me say that. A lot of men who are what? Men who are diva. We got a lot of men who are divas. Let me say that again. We have a lot of men who are just divas. What woman's going to follow a diva? Dudes be winding the water with bubbles in it, drinking the water. Right. We got a lot of men, especially on these YouTube streets and everywhere else, who are just divas. Oh my God. I heard a story today. Diva. He and it's my dude, and he's a diva. When I heard the story today, I got the phone call. I was like, oh my God, he did what? He so-and-so did. He's a diva. Bruh, take your diva self out. Thank you. Too emotional. Diva. Diva for no reason. Anytime, that's why I call them buttercup and them men. Anytime a man is too emotional, too diva, and I'm talking about, and I know this, brother. Been knowing him for, I'm 50. So shoot, I was in, man, almost 40 plus years. He's a diva. And guess what happens? Because he's a diva, guess what happens? He can't even keep a woman. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Because he acts like a diva, he cannot keep a woman. Can't even keep a woman. Can't even keep a dog on woman because he's too diva. I understand having standards. There's a difference between having standards and having things that you will and will not accept. Let me say that again. There's a difference between having standards and things that you will and will not accept. But there's another thing where you a doggone diva. You walking around with a cigarette. You walking around with a cigarette on a little stem and you smoking it like that. Oh yeah. If you don't get your diva self together, this is a man. Hence, how can that woman trust you when you got your slippers on and you a diva?
Execute Order 66.
And so what happens when these guys turn into divas? Guess what happened? This famous picture comes up. This how they act. Y'all didn't see them dudes. Divas. And who can really trust you? How can she express her emotions within the boundaries of which are established if you being a diva? If you being entitled? Right. Female dudes and masculine women. We can't even do nothing with you because you're a diva. And this is so important. There can be no trust. TRUST, trust is the foundation. Think about it. If you being a diva, you being a diva and entitled and you doing all of this, I got to ask a question. Do you think that woman want to follow you? Do you think that woman really want to follow you? Here's your opportunity to come up. I put the link in the chat room. You can come up while we got time. You can come up. But do you think a woman really wants to follow a man that's being a diva, who's being a buttercup, who's so emotional? There's no trust established. Like I said, in this particular lifestyle, there has to be leadership from the man, but he also has to let the woman that he can be trusted and he has to trust her. The reason why all these men clamoring about the S word, y'all know what the S word is, submission. I want submission from me. I'm the man. They use the Bible, and I can quote the Bible in the Ephesians. I think it's in the fourth chapter or the fifth chapter. I think it's the fourth chapter. And the man is supposed to submit to the woman. That's the only scripture they know. And Jesus wept. That's the only scripture they know. And they quote that scripture. She's supposed to submit to the man. But at the end of the day, brother, can she trust you to submit? Can she trust you to submit? And on the flip side, can he trust you, sister? Because don't think y'all are exempt from this conversation. But I have to talk to the men because the trust factor is important when it comes to submission. And let me get something about the submission, because I got a lot of women here. Let me say this about the trust factor. Let me say this about the submission factor. Yeah, it's only those like those in the change. And then let me say this about the trust. Let me say something about the submission. You guys need to get this about submission. You need to get this about submission, because y'all been lied to, many men and women, about submission. And I've been doing some in-depth studying about this submission thing and some other dynamics of relationships. But let me say this about submission. Submission is not about slavery, because I had someone come on my post and say it sounds like submission is not slavery. Submission is not taking something away from you. Submission is not making you subservient or beneath. Submission is about really empowerment. In order for you to be submissive, I'm talking to the ladies and the whole dynamic of trust. In order for you to be submissive, you need to be empowered as an individual to submit. I know, no super chats, no cash apps on this one. That was
Execute Order 66.
good. In order for there to be true submission, you have to be in your true power, not void of your power. You cannot submit when you are not in your power, or if you're being a slave, because in order for you to submit, it means that you have to make a decision to follow this person's leadership. But if you are a slave, and there are relationships like that, you have no decision because of lack of trust to submit to that person's leadership. So the lie that many people have been propagating because of their fear, mainly they're pushing out fear to women about submission, is that they're going to lose their power. The most empowering thing a woman can do is be submissive to leadership. It doesn't take anything away from her. It takes a strong woman to submit to leadership of a man. Well, this may be, they might tell me to go from this. Look at the numbers. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. It takes a strong woman. Y'all want to be strong? It takes a strong woman to submit in her individuality to the mission of a man. You do it every day when you go to work. You don't know the CEO, and you may know the CEO, but at the end of the day, you submit to his vision as an individual and do your job there at where you work at. It's funny, we can get it there, but when it comes back to the household, it's an issue, because it's a matter of trust that is not there, that you trust the leadership of that man or whoever you're dealing with. It all comes back down to trust. Can I trust you, and can you trust me? I put the link in it. Y'all want to come up? You want them to come up? If not, I'm going to cut it real short. It's about trust. Can I trust you? The reason why a lot of women are buckling with the word submission or submission from a man, because they don't trust a man because of their fears. And why a lot of men are buckling and trying to make women submit is because they don't trust. When there's trust established, the woman will follow. Plain and simple. When she can trust you, when she has worked through her own internal issues inside of her, when she has worked through her own internal issues inside of her, when it comes to trust and her fears, baby, is nothing. And this is the thing. Let me get this correct. This is the thing. Trust is so important when it comes to submission and leadership that we overlook it. We don't see how vitally important it is. Because what happened is we have no, thank you. Thank you. That's the next word with it. We have no effective communication. And just be honest. That's probably going to be tomorrow's word, but trust. Leadership was Monday. Trust today. Honesty tomorrow. But just being, hey, yo, in order for me to ensue trust with anyone, I have to relate to them. And also I have to be what? Be able to communicate with them. So this is the real game. So what happens is when we talk about game and what people use game or whatever like that, they never establish the trust factor with you. That's the reason why, like what Monica just said, no games. That's the reason why they get the negative side of the game, because I can't trust what you're going to do. I can't, the real answer, I can't trust what you're going to say and what you're going to do or how you move. So I can't trust you. Once you realize that the real enemy is not the opposite sex or your friend, whoever, the real enemy is your ability to trust yourself. And I'm talking to the men first. Can you trust your own leadership? Can you trust your own decision making? Can you trust that you're going, can you trust yourself to say, I need you to be here at 11 o'clock on the dot, no ifs, ands, or buts. Can you trust your leadership? Can you trust the way you're moving? It's amazing how all these guys, and I'm for the men, I am pro man. This is a man channel. But you can't expect something if you ain't giving nothing. And then two, because I hear you in this ear, well, you know, I trusted some girl and she did something to me. You know what? She may have did that to you. She did that to you. That woman hurt you. She did you wrong. And you had your trust on the line. You had your heart wide open. Yep, you did. And like I always say, you have two things. You have no enemies. You have no friends. You only have teachers. And if she did that to you, what did you learn from dealing with that woman? Did you thoroughly vet that woman? Did you see the mistakes that you may have made? Because it's easy to point out the mistakes that she made, and vice versa for the women. Because I know a lot of women, I don't trust no man. I can't deal with them. They're all dogs. Yeah, you can call in. You can call in. Call in. It's open. Yes, you can, Monica. Yes, you can. So trust is very important. It's so important. This is the reason why you see when you look at a breakdown on any relationship or anything that's on social media, you're looking at anything that somebody broke up with somebody, I guarantee you it was the trust that was broken. Trust and tomorrow honesty. I promise you. Yeah, call me, Monica. You can come right through. Yeah, come right through up on the board. So yes, trust is vitally important. You cannot ask for a submission and then these women ain't gonna submit and you ain't got no, she can't even trust you. You're not even trustworthy. You can't even pay your bills on time. Can she trust you and vice versa? Why should he trust you anyway? When you got you talking to me and you were at dinner and you texting Joe. She calling the other phone, not that phone, not that number. Not that number, Monica. You calling that wrong phone. Call the other number. Let me send it to you. Send it on the back. Let me send you in the back end. Not that number, Monica. Monica. Because I hear you calling. Let me give you the number. She called the other number. Here we go. Yeah. So how can so can he really trust you? Because you know, I mean, be honest. Let's be very honest. Some of y'all women are not trustworthy. Monica, are you there? Uh-oh. Okay, let me let me get this connected. Stay right there. Don't let me get you connected because it ain't connected to the board what I thought it was. 1 second. While we connect to is connected. You should be able to go through. Rodecaster. Okay, go ahead. Monica.
Yes.
All right, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Good morning to everybody, or afternoon. I just wanted to make a comment in regard to submission.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only speak for myself. I could share some stories about other people that I've heard, other women. And I think that most women want to be able to be submissive, to get under the same mission as the man that they're in relationship with. But most of the times, what my experience has shown me is that most men that I've had dealings with, they're not able to stop paying attention to only their thoughts and their will and what's good for them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have enough capacity to consider me.
Mm-hmm.
They only want to go down a trail that they want to go, where they're happy, where their needs are met. And they don't have enough room to really think about another person. They become very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And a relationship is just not healthy if it's only going to be focused on one person and their needs and their desires. I just want to be respected. I want to be considered. And I want to be taken care of in every way and be able to give those same things back to him.
Right. So it's interesting that you say that because, and I need to talk behind the scenes about this type of relationship that I'm talking about. The goal of the man inside of this particular dynamic of relationship is the goal of the man is to grow the woman. And so I'm trying to bring it out slowly. So if he's growing the woman, that means he's looking for the well-being of that woman because he's the leader of that woman. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
And what happens is that when she understands that it's upfront, this is what I want and this is what you want in this relationship, you understand that I'm the leader, that you are submitted to me in this particular dynamic. What happens is because of relating and because of the relationship, his goal is to make sure that she is the best version of who she is. But like you were saying, there are a lot of guys who only in it for self-serving reasons and not to actually grow the woman or to advance her in who she is.
So does she get to participate in defining what the best version of herself is? Or is that something he determines?
No. So in this particular dynamic, that's where communication comes in and boundaries comes in. Where she says, this is where I'm at in this. So he comes in and say, well, let me guide you and help you in this particular area to be the best version of what you just presented to me.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And but in order for that to happen, there has to be some trust. And what happened, I think what's happened is there's a lot of men and women that don't trust each other. Let's give an example. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I totally agree. But I think in good, healthy relationship, that's what we both should be doing for one another. How can I assist you in your endeavors to be the best version of who you are? And what role can I play in that? How can I support you in that? How can I encourage you in that? How can I love you through the times where you're trying to evolve, when you might not be hitting the mark perfectly, but you're moving and you're, leveling up.
Right. Let's give an example so that everybody understand. So I know Monica behind the scenes. She was a co-host with me on the show many years ago. Correct, Monica?
That's right. That's right.
Now, listen to what's about to happen, because y'all can understand how a relationship works. I had to communicate. Monica listened to my show several times, and I had to communicate my vision to Monica on what I wanted to do and what I needed her to do inside of the show, and outside of the show. And I had to trust her that she was going to do it. Is that right, Monica?
That's right.
When you came on the show, you knew the parameters and the boundary, because we communicated to each other how we were going to do, if we were going to disagree, and I had to have some kind of show notes ready for you. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
And it made for what from your end, how did that fare to you?
When you were able to communicate to me what your needs were, and I knew I had what it took to give you that made me feel fulfilled. It made me feel like I was rolling in my purpose, like I was living out my purpose. Like what I had inside me, my gifts and abilities could serve what you had as your mission. So it made me feel good. It was teamwork. It was great effort. And the way you would communicate to me would be to share it, but you always gave me space to have comments too, and I was respectfully heard. And at the end of the day, this is your vision. So everything we come to, the end that we come to, has to meet your vision. And it worked out perfectly.
This right there, the relationship we had with doing that. Think about it. Now, I had to trust you. We're going a little bit. I had to trust you when I had you interview a young lady. Rest in peace. She's gone on. Marissa. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
And I had you did she interview you, right? Or vice versa?
I think I've interviewed her.
You interviewed her to see if it was a right fit and everything that was going on, because she was assisting me on the other side with doing some of the administrative stuff.
Right.
And I had you guys talk. Y'all hit it off, crying and on the phone and praying and all that. Y'all did everything. She started speaking in Spanish, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes, we did.
But this is the thing. Everybody knew what the vision was and how it worked, and it worked perfectly. Am I lying or flying? Because most people think, he just talking up here. He don't know what he's talking about. When was he doing this? Now, I never met you personally. I met Marissa one time in Jersey, but we worked together as a collective team to fulfill a vision of doing it was the Mr. L radio show at that time. Is that correct? Please talk about that, because people think we are making this up.
Yes, it was the Dr. Love radio show.
Yep.
But what we did at the beginning, we had to understand, Marissa and I, we had to understand what it was you were trying to accomplish, which took conversation, which meant we had to listen to you to get an understanding, and we had to share with you back what we heard. And if we had questions, we were able to ask. You answered them. We had dialogue. So there was conversation back and forth that resulted in an understanding. And then we had to buy into your mission. We had to agree with your mission. You were clear in what that was. We didn't have to fly by the seat of our pants. You were clear in what your mission was. And so often, sometimes that's why submission can't happen, because the mission is unclear.
Oh, what? Come on now. Come on, keep talking.
So once we understood the mission and you told us what you needed, the voids that you saw, and what you needed us to do to help, we had to agree to that. We had to trust in the relationship between us. You had to trust us to do our part. We had to trust in the direction you were going, buy into it, support it, and it came out a good product because of that.
You let me get red pill on.
You can't make this up.
You can't. So this is how many years ago?
Oh my God, I don't know.
It's over 6 years ago.
I think it's closer to like 10 or 12. I
Oh
really
my
do.
God.
Because it is the year of our Lord 22.
Oh my God. Monica, don't, please don't tell, please. You know what? Monica, see, they think, I'm going to make sure, see all my cloud watchers, he don't know what he's talking about. He don't deal with women. How I had 2 women, beautiful, strong. We ain't going to tell you what you do and what Marissa did. But they were able to see the vision that was presented to them, and we worked together. I was not a tyrant. I didn't cuss them out. I didn't have to pimp smack nobody. None of that.
Because of the relationship between us, the way you communicated to us, the way we were able to trust you, the way you talked to us, made us very confident that we could get under this same mission without fear of being mistreated. And we believed in what you were doing. What you were doing was important to us. And we wanted to see it, prosper and for it to be, do good and to help people. And that's what it did.
I got a question because I know people listening, they're wondering. Because this is a good factor. You can answer this honestly or not. I don't, we're transparent here. Did I not pour back into you and Marissa? Yes or no? Or you can expound on that.
Oh, all the time. Because even when we would go through the shows, we would have separate discussion about what we were talking about. And there was a benefit. Let me tell you what you did for me. I did some graphics for you early on in my creative, episodes. So what you did was you gave me a foundation that made me know that there was something in me that I could build on. So while I was pushing your vision, while I was submitted to your mission, you made me grow. You made me expand. You made me evolve. Not only just in the conversations about relationship and love, but in the gifts and things that I could give to your show to help it move forward. So it was a win-win for me.
That's right, because you started doing graphics. That's right. Right?
That's correct.
You did one of the covers for one of the books, Matter of fact, I wish I could find it, but you did a cover for the book. Monica did that. Not me, Monica. Monica did that. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Now got me looking around. I think I gotta find it. I got to put up somewhere. But Monica did the graphics for the show. She did a lot of that.
Yeah. I just want people to understand, mainly men, that sometimes I'm sitting back and listening to some of the men on the show, and there are so many variations of people. Sometimes we talk in black and white when there may be some gray areas because people are different. Mm-hmm. I just know that most of the women that I've ever met, their hearts are really pure in wanting to be in good relationships, and they're choosing to go down certain paths with, just based on who they're listening to at the time. And like you talk about this time when we were told that we had to be a independent, strong, powerful woman. Those words came from women who had been let down, mm-hmm. who had been in relationships that it proved true that they were out on their own, that their men weren't holding up their end of the bargain. Mm-hmm. But you can't change the whole culture of women based on a few men that have chosen to go the wrong way. So mm-hmm. I refuse to become what they consider an independent woman, because I don't ever want to live independent of everything and everybody.
Mhm.
I want to be as close to the man that's for me as I can get. But I do want to be self-sufficient. I want to bring some strength and some positivity to the table. I want to be able to give him what he needs. I want to be close enough to him that I can say to him, if there is something you need that I'm not giving you, this table is open for you to lay that out there. Because what I want to do is learn you on the daily, give you everything that you need. And whatever that is, we're going to work on that, because I want to do that for him.
Monica,
So,
preach.
that-
Now I went back into the archives. I had to go find it. But on the screen right now, Monica created this book cover for me many years ago, so everybody can see. Monica Cooper did this. You can see it right here on the screen right here. This is on the screen. This is his book. Jono was the one who put this I had the content. She put the cover, and what I did was Jono put made it into a little booklet. I just wanted to see how far it goes back. I don't even have a date on this. That's how far it goes back. This is Love Notes.
Oh, wow. I remember.
Monica did this. So all you guys out there talking about these women ain't doing this, these women, Monica did this. This was, I can't even get the year, but shoot, I got to ask Jono. But Jono is the one who took the format, put it into a book form, and when I came to Jersey to go speak at a singles conference, he had it so I can give this out to every individual. But Monica did this. And there's some other ones too that Monica did. So you got to understand. That's why I'm saying it's so important with the trust. You have to trust me.
Let me say one.
Go ahead. You got
Let
the
me
floor.
say one thing. The beauty of that story is not just the way that we were able to cooperate with one another, but what a beautiful thing can come out of that cooperation. It's like, and that's such as life in relationship. What can we accomplish if we are men and women who are really trusting one another, really committed to each other, really serious about this thing called life together, no games, how we can change the world, for real. I mean, really.
Right.
It can burst some things. It can.
And that's what it did. And I let me say this, and I'm gonna say it publicly so you can hear it. Everybody on the show, you go back and rewind and hear it. I completely thank you and honor you for the gift of you showing up those days. I think it was Sundays we were doing it, and Sundays or another day. I think it was Sundays, Sunday nights. You sacrificed your time, things you had to do. Sometimes you did. I appreciate you and I thank you. I thank you. We have remained friends for all these years. And that's a long time. And we still haven't met in person.
We still have not met in person. We got to do something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said before, you'll never know how much that did for me. It did a lot for you, and you thank me for that. But I thank you for the opportunity to see something that I could do to help push a mission that was worth it. And I appreciate that so much.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Monica Cooper. You see her in the chat room. Y'all don't know who. Y'all don't know who in the chat room. So let me say, I got to say this again. For all those doubters and people who don't believe and he just talking, what experience does he have? Baby, this was 10 years ago. You didn't even have a YouTube channel. You weren't even on, there was no Instagram. I was doing it. So check the pedigree before you come for the L. Y'all new on the block. I've been on the block. That being said, Monica, you got anything else you would like to say?
No, that's it. I'll be listening to you every chance that I get, and just keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Monica. Everybody get some love to Monica in the chat room. With that being said, ain't nothing else for me to say. Monica done said it all. I'm about to get the music on. These suckers want to come up here. I'm telling you. Where are the where the women that has helped you? Where the men that have helped you? Where the people that has really helped you? Not just one woman, two women. One that was Spanish and one was black. One was Latin and one was black. Come on. And they were older than me. Get out of here. When you graduate to the level of game I was doing, or we were exercising the exercise we're not talking about, then you come on this show and you educate me. That's the way of a man. To that time, sit in the bleacher, sit in the clouds and watch. Oh, that was shoot. Rise, let's go. We out of here. These clowns teach me about game. Appreciate that, Wade. Shout out to Monica. This is the way of a true man. Let me cut my mic off before I start fussing.